This is a demonstration of the ASCOT, Astronomical Collaborative Toolkit, which is a set of APIs and atomic tools built on those APIs. This particular page is an implementation of a set of tools based on those APIs that's enabled in the web. The web page gives you two options right off the bat, either a quick dashboard, which contains many of the commonly used gadgets, or you can create your own custom gadget dashboard with your own set of gadgets. For this particular demonstration, we'll go ahead and just use the quick dashboard because it really does contain most of the gadgets that I'd like to demonstrate here. On the left, you'll see the imagery. This is the Google Earth plugin, and inside of the Google Earth plugin, it serves SDSS imagery as well as digitized sky survey imagery as well as Hubble Space Telescope imagery. This allows for the data to be seen contextually with imagery. Up here is a name resolver, so you can just simply type in the name of an object. This does two things. It converts the name of the object to a point and also drives the viewport to that location. This gadget allows you to query against SQL data, and this data set allows you to plot that data once it's been stored in an ASCOT data structure, and then these two gadgets I'll mention a little bit later when they're populated. Abell 1689 is a beautiful, rich cluster of galaxies. It also has been imaged by the Hubble Space Telescope, which gives us even more amazing data to see. So you can see when I stop the viewport, it updates over here the bounds of the viewport, which gives us an automatic way to query against SDSS and get the most relevant data. I don't want these two buttons are utility buttons that allow you to get just stars or just galaxies. I don't want just galaxies or just stars. I want them both in the same data set for the purposes of this demonstration. So I'm going to query against photoprimary, which I happen to know from my Sloan experience that that table contains both the galaxies and the stars. So over here you can see all of the objects that were selected. There were 209, and that is all the objects in photoprimary that land in these bounds. You can then plot any of these columns against each other. And an interesting one is a color magnitude diagram. And here we have just such a thing. I can zoom in to the interesting portion of this diagram that we'll look at here. And we see that there's a pretty clear trend of data in this region, which I will now highlight. By selecting these data, I not only color them in the scatter plot, but I also color them in the imagery plot. And you can see by looking at these that most of them are what appear to be red ellipticals in the cluster itself. There's also this secondary group of objects down here. It might be interesting to look and see what those turn out to be. You can select them and we'll do it in blue. Well, let's take a look at just those objects by removing all the others. And in fact, for the most part, they appear to be either foreground blue galaxies or stars in our own galaxy. So this gives us a way of inspecting the data in both in the imagery itself, but also in parameter space. Another feature of the plot window is that you can take one of these outliers and you can click on it and it will zoom the viewport to that location. Here's another one. It's hard to tell, these may have been blended in the Sloan imagery into a single object and therefore had funny colors. These other gadgets, I've used one of them already. This is the dataset selector, so it allows you to choose which datasets are plotted at any given time. And so even subsets of a dataset. So we have an SDSS dataset. We could go and get another one if we wanted to, but then that allows us to choose which actual selections are being plotted. And then finally down here are is the dataset manipulator. So this actually gives us a tabular view of the data and allows us to do things like move columns around. There is no columnar math at the moment, but that is certainly on the list of things to do. And that is a demonstration of the ASCOT, Astronomical Collaborative Toolkit.